Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again. We've got lots of progress to report today on our little coach house project here in Wicker Park. We're trying to get tight to the weather, and it is beginning to rain. So today we'll be installing new vinyl windows, taking you on a tour of the factory right here in Chicago where they're made. When we come back, we'll be installing some of the framing up for a master bedroom closet and putting in a floor safe. So stay with me. It's good to have you home again.
Sears presents Home Again with Bob Vila.
Okay, we're really making lots of progress in here. This is our garage. The door isn't in place yet, but we've got about 10 guys working on the job, and we've got this ready for drywall. Our heating ductwork is all in place. This is what they call the trunk line, from which we distribute into the rooms upstairs. We have the equipment actually installed down here in this nice utility room that we framed in the basement we dug out, and of course the water heater's right next to it. Let's come on up through the new stairs that we built and check out the kitchen. It's going to be so great. You can drive right into your house, right in the city here. Up the stairs from the garage, you're right in your kitchen, which is 12 by 20. Very sizable. We'll have the kitchen works on that side. On this side, we've built in a little room that's meant to be a storage pantry. It's big enough that I'm going to leave the door off so that it's an open area. We'll have floor-to-ceiling shelves here and an actual workstation under the window here so that you can have like a kitchen office. I want to point out that in Chicago, we're required to have all of the electrical wiring in the house installed in metal conduit tubing and in metal work boxes. That varies in other parts of the country. Back in Massachusetts, we use a lot of plastic. And notice up here that we've already installed our man-made beam so that we're carrying the load of the new master bedroom floor up above. And what we've got here is some really nice space, a dining and living area that's the whole 20 by about 24, including this bay window. And when we get a little bit farther along, we'll remove these old ceiling joists that are still in the way so that you'll end up having a cathedral ceiling in the living room. And you look up there, we've already got our skylights in place, just a little bit more closing in to do. And right now I see John is here to install one of our vinyl windows. Hey, John, how are you?
How you doing, Bob?
Good. Have you put one of these in before?
Yes, I have.
Not much to it?
Not much to it. They're very simple to install. They're actually held in by 4 stainless steel screws in all 4 corners into the framing.
And
then we have an adjustment bracket in the center, which adjusts the frame in and out to keep the reveal straight.
Okay. But when you have an old brick building like this, isn't it a nightmare?
Oh, that's true. Nothing is straight, square, or plumb. In this case, our brick line here is actually 1 1/4 inches out of plumb.
1 1/4 inch in the 5-foot opening.
In the 5-foot opening.
That's real
correct.
bad. So what do you do?
What we had to do is build a frame inside the window to correct this, to give us a plumb line and a nice square opening to set the window in.
What you basically call a new window buck.
Window buck, exactly. That's a window buck.
And this, of course, is the framing for the new
right, our sill,
plasterboard.
that's correct. This is plasterboard, and then our sill will come in and bump the bottom of the window.
Okay, well, let's put it in.
Okay.
Does it sit right on top of this, or do you have to have insulation on it?
We have insulation.
On the bottom? Yeah.
Correct.
And a helper on the outside.
And we have a helper on the outside. All right. Now, the tough part is keeping our insulation
in place while you
slide it into the window. We have about a 1/2 inch larger opening than the window is.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. Now what we've done here is establish the reveal that we want for our drywall return.
Well, what do you mean by reveal?
That's the distance from the outside of the wall bumping into the window itself.
Okay, and so you know if you have the same exact distance on both sides of the window, that the window's going to be in the right place.
Correct. Well, what we're doing is centering the window in. Now we have about a 1/2 inch and none on this side. So what we're going to do is get a 1/4 inch on both sides.
And see, this gap here has to be increased.
Yeah, we have a 1/2 inch here, and we want to we have none here, so we're going to get a 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch on both sides. We'll move that in a little bit. There we go. That's excellent. Now, the next thing that we want to do is establish whether or not our sill is level. And by reading it here, we can see we're about an 1/8 of an inch.
Just a hair off.
Just a hair off.
So the trusty shim shingle comes into play.
That's correct.
There's the bubble.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Now we're going to establish we have 6.5 inches in from framing on both sides.
You want to make sure it's the same on both sides.
Correct.
Got to move a little bit.
A little bit more, 6.5.
There you go.
Now what we're going to do is secure the bottom of the window.
With the screws?
With our screws.
Now, you said you have to use stainless steel screws?
Yes,
Let me take a look at those.
Screws. Here they are.
And they're about 2 1/4 inches. Okay. So we can just start driving the screws into place.
Yeah, first thing we do is we shim snug. We take our screw, and in the factory hole, we secure it to the frame, snugging it firm.
Both sides.
Correct.
Okay, there you go.
Another shim.
Another shim in the opening.
Okay, and secure it. It's very simple. Once you have a plumb and square frame to work with,
Yeah, then you
these
have
windows
to
fly.
basically do the same thing on the top.
That's correct.
We're going to have to break for some messages. We'll be right back. Can I help you with those?
Sure. Okay.
Got it? Okay.
Yeah. Very good.
Can you cut that strap out now?
That's our next piece.
Good.
All right. Kevin will take that.
And what's next?
Well, next thing we're going to be using is our center adjustment pieces.
The little brackets down there.
Oh, right, our brackets. And
those
snug
will-
those up to the framing.
Those actually bite into the frame
Correct.
and secure the side of it to the lumber. Good. Now, what about the big gap between the brick and the window buck?
Well, we're going to have our masons come back out and do some tuck pointing because we have broken bricks out there. But after they're finished, we're going to come back and caulk the exterior, the outside edge to the brick. Then we'll install molding after that.
So that'll be the final thing. Okay, but all in all, it's a pretty easy installation.
Very easy.
And the manufacture of the windows is also very interesting. You know, in most major cities, you're going to find factories that make windows, and we did right here, just near Wicker Park. Take a look at the Republic Aluminum and Vinyl Window Factory tour. We're on Diversey on the north side of Chicago, right in front of the Republic Aluminum and Vinyl Window Company. They're making our windows, and inside, Ron Spielman, a vice president, is waiting to give us a tour. Hi, Ron. How you doing?
Hi, Bob. How are you?
I'm great.
Good to see you.
This is the typical replacement window like the ones we're using.
Vinyl replacement, that's correct.
So what are your raw materials here?
Well, vinyl extrusions that come in bundles like this, long lengths,
Yeah.
and glass that come in 6,000-pound racks like that.
That's 6,000 pounds of glass over there.
6,000 pounds in that rack right
Stay
over
away
there.
from it. These have really become popular in the last few years. Why is that?
Well, vinyl doesn't conduct the cold the way other materials do.
That's the secret right
That's
there. But
the
is
secret.
it as sturdy a frame as a metal window?
For residential use, every bit is as good. Yes.
Really? Well, what's the first step in making a window like this?
Well, why don't we go over to our glass optimizer where we cut our glass, and that's a good place to get started.
Glass
If
optimized.
you don't mind, why don't you put the glasses
No,
on?
I'll follow you.
Okay, thank you. Bob, this is our glass optimization line. Sheets of glass are taken from back there and flipped onto an air table, which allows it to fall without breaking.
Yeah.
It's then brought down to our computerized cutting line over there.
So what's the computer doing?
Well, the computer tells the machine how to cut the glass to minimize the scrap. We've taken that scrap from 20% to 4%. And as you can see, the cutting table brings it over here to the breakout table, and then it cuts it and puts it into separate sections, tells us how to put this glass into the proper order.
And of course, you're making custom sizes.
Everything is custom.
So you got a big window schedule, and
That's right. 200 windows are put into a certain order, into a schedule, and up there you see the red, which is the scrap, and then the rest is the actual glass, and it's telling us where to put it in the proper slot so that it's in the proper order.
Fabulous. What's the next step?
The insulated glass right over there. Bob, all of our windows are made with insulated glass, and this is how we make it. Go ahead. This is a metal spacer which is filled with a silica gel, desiccant,
Okay.
keeps the moisture out between the glass.
So
This is
what you're
Well, we-
making here is the frame then.
That's correct. This is called an extruder that puts the hot melt butyl onto the metal spacer.
What's the hot melt butyl for?
That's to keep the moisture out of the glass and to seal the glass itself.
Oh, that's what the glass panes stick to?
That's correct. And the key to this whole thing is that the glass and the spacers are synchronized so that they match up and mate together perfectly.
Of course, because you're making every window is practically a different size because they're custom
Everything
ordered.
is custom, and they all have to go and fit together. And you can see right over there how the glass comes through the washer and into the oven and out the other side as a complete insulated panel of glass.
So the glass has been washed, and once they put it in the frame, what does the oven do?
The oven heats the hot melt butyl so that it is actually wetted to the glass and then goes through a roller that presses the glass together and gives it the seal.
And now
once that glass is together, you can never clean it between it. That's why it's got to be perfectly clean.
And now it's ready to go into a vinyl frame.
That's correct.
Where do we see that?
Over there where we fabricate and cut the vinyl.
Let's go.
Okay. This is the vinyl saw where we cut the vinyl extrusions before processing, Bob. As you can see, this is the cut material, which is ready now for fabrication.
Okay, so what's this in here?
This is what we call thin seal weather stripping, Bob. This allows the window to be sealed against air infiltration.
Okay.
And there's a mylar strip in there, helps keep out the air, Bob.
Okay.
From here, we go on to the fabrication tooling, which puts the holes into the vinyl, rigid vinyl, so that you can put all the hardware and so forth that allow you to tilt the window in.
That's basically a punch.
A punch process, that's correct. Fabrication of all of the vinyl sections. From there, we go and we have the flexible vinyl gasket put around the glass on all four sides of the glass.
What does that do?
That prevents direct contact between the glass and the vinyl. It sort of like acts as a cushion.
Yeah.
From there, the rigid vinyl gets pounded onto the glass, the flexible vinyl, and it's mechanically fastened by screws. Right from there, we go on to the final assembly where everything gets put together. He's putting in both sash into this final assembly area, which we call a rack, that actually simulates a window opening itself. And he's checking the operation to make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to. It fits properly.
Normally, these are all removable so you can clean them easily, right?
Right, but you really don't have to because they all tilt in. So
Yeah.
only if you have a breakage or something like that. But
Okay.
he checks the operation up and down, makes sure everything is fitting properly, and then checks the locks to make sure that everything's going the way it's supposed to for final assembly and packaging over there.
Yeah. All right. Well, you've got hundreds of windows that you're making here. All I need is a dozen. Can I have them next week?
I think we might arrange that for you, Bob.
Thanks for the tour, Ron.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Great.
Bye-bye.
We'll be right back after this message. Okay, and now we're back up in the former attic, which is really turning into a fabulous space. This is going to be a master bedroom suite with a huge bathroom on my left over here, big closet where Ron is working back there, a second closet over here. This area, well, as I was saying a little while ago, these old ceiling joists all get ripped out so that from down below we'll have the effect of a big cathedral ceiling. All of it plastered. We'll have a picture window behind me and the two skylights, which are just permanent, but that means we'll have lots of daylight flooding the space. And if you need privacy from the bedroom to that area down below, we'll install pocket doors in here on either side, which you can just draw shut. And on this side of the dormer, Ron's framed in an interesting detail. Essentially, it's a double framed wall here up to about 40 inches, which allows for a shelf, but really we're creating a built-in headboard for the bed, which will be a very nice custom feature. And of course, it's flanked by two windows. And Ron, you were working on this other closet. What have you got going on here now?
Well, Bob, one of your special surprises just arrived for me.
The safe.
The safe. And this safe is actually meant to fit in your joist space.
In between the floor joists.
Down in the floor, but you need at least a 2x10, and we only have 2x8s here. So we had to come up with some other method to put this in.
To install it, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be putting it in the floor.
We're not going to be putting it in the floor. What we've done here is we've actually built a box that we needed to cover a heat duct. So instead of just building a short one here, we decided to build it all the way across, find a resting place for the safe, and the rest of it can be used for storage and for shoes on top.
Well, it'll be a wonderful place to store all your boots and stuff once it's done.
Right.
And I guess you can camouflage it enough when we put the wall-to-wall down that you won't
Yeah,
know
we'll
the
put
safe
some
is
carpet
there.
on here. Look, it'll be real nice.
Yeah. Is it open?
Yeah, it's open. I'm the only one that knows the combination.
Oh, that's great. Isn't this fabulous? Now, did you read the spec on it? How much of a fire rating does
Well,
this
this
have?
thing can handle about 1,700 degrees for an hour, which means that it'll be in the basement by the time the building burns.
And
here.
it's about a couple of $100 item,
Right.
plus the cost
Right.
of installation,
Right.
so that it's not a bad idea. How do you install it?
Well, let me show you. Let's move our little plywood piece away from here for a minute. And
Just drop it into the space you've framed.
It just goes right in like this. And try to get your fingers out.
Yeah.
And what holds this in, believe it or not, are 3 one-way screws.
Oh, yeah, look at these.
Okay, so it's a one-shot deal. Once they're in, you can't take them out.
So you just put them right through.
Right, so you can see here, you can turn it like this, but if you go the other way, it just slips right off.
You can't back them off.
Right.
Okay, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Good. Those 3 screws cannot be backed off, and the safe is safe. Listen, I want to talk about that partition that's going in over here, because we've got an angle up above, and how do you figure out the angle of the tops of these studs?
Well, there's a couple of ways of doing it, Bob. If you don't have a speed square, you can put your stud into place and put a level up, okay?
Plumb it in.
And just plumb it in place. If you'll take a pencil there, Bob,
Sure.
and just mark it for me.
Sure.
Okay.
What is the pitch of the roof?
The pitch here is a 412 pitch.
So every 12 inches you travel horizontally, you rise 4 inches.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So now we have this.
That's one way to do it.
This is one way to do it, okay? And it's a little cumbersome because then you're going to have to take your saw and fiddle around with the angle guide here and try to get the right angle
An
out here.
eyeball. That's not the real way to do it.
That's not the real way. The real way to do it is to use what we call a speed square, okay? And you see here has a mark called the pivot mark.
Yes.
You set your pivot mark on your stud.
On the edge.
Okay, and then we have here some corresponding numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, that tell us
Corresponding to the pitch.
to the pitch, a 2 and 12, 3 and 12, 4 and 12. So we have a 4 and 12, we line it up like that, and that also corresponds then to a angle, a degree here, okay, and we're somewhere in between 20 and 15, about 17 and a half.
Right in the middle.
Which is the slope of the roof. Okay?
17.5 degrees.
Right. So again, we would make that same mark right there.
And that would be the setting on your table, on your saw.
And then all we do is draw a square line across like that, and we are now ready to cut this piece of wood.
Yeah, let's cut a bunch of these.
Okay. Okay, I've got my saw set to my 17.5 degrees.
Use your speed square as a guide.
Use my speed square as a little bit of a guide here.
Good. Okay, and we're back, and we've got our second closet frame, so that the master suite is just about complete. And we've got a couple of minutes left. I did want to review the budget with you. You've got all the different categories for me here, from appliances through windows, and only some of them we've spent money on to date. So can you run through with me?
Yeah. So far, we've got about $18,000 in carpentry labor.
Carpentry labor, $18,000.
We've got about $5,300 into our concrete contract.
$5,300.
We've spent all of our $3,000 on our demolition, and we're done with that one.
Done.
We've got about $4,000 into electric right now.
Yeah.
About $4,000 into HVAC.
Okay, well, they've done pretty much all the rough work, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, that's good.
Our interior and exterior materials were about $6,000 so far.
Lumber,
Right.
$6,000. That's not bad.
Right. Now, we've spent all of our allowance on our masonry already, $4,500, but we're going to definitely go over that, Bob, because we found some new things today that we got to take care of.
So it's $4,500 to date, but there's more masonry work to do.
Right.
All
We
right.
spent about $4,500 of our plumbing contract. We're all roughed in right
That's
now.
plumbing, not plumbing fixtures.
Right, not fixtures.
$4,500.
We've spent $2,000 of our roofing allowance so far.
Okay.
And
Yep.
about $600 of our skylight. We spent our whole $600 in skylights.
That was the
actually,
budget.
yeah.
Okay. And windows, have we paid for the windows?
We haven't paid for the windows. We estimate them at around $2,500 right
Okay.
now.
Right. So what's the total to date?
Well, right now we're at about $55,000, I think.
52,000?
Yeah, about $52,000.
52,000. Okay. We'll check your math later. We're running out of time. Come home again next week when we're going to be installing a zero-clearance fireplace down in the living room, and we're also going to be working on the ironwork that goes in the new entrance, a balcony, a set of stairs with concrete steps, quite interesting. And we'll be taking you to visit a unique apartment complex here in the Chicagoland area that's been designed with the needs of the severely handicapped adults in mind. Don't miss it. Till then, I'm Bob Vila. It's good to have you home again.